Hello. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Sadaf Khalid, joining you all the way from Islamabad, Pakistan, with my dear friend Inger from Oslo, Norway. Today is 4th December, Inger, and the fourth day we are running the campaign called It's for You, It's for Me, It's for Everyone, or COP28, which is happening in Dubai. Hi, Inger. How are you doing today? All geared up for the morning session.
Absolutely, I am. It's gray, it's cold, it's freezing, snow, beautiful, but it's ice cold outside. But everything is a hot topic in this world, especially at COP28 in Dubai. I think it's hot. But let's talk about our agenda for today, Sadaf. Over to you. Tell us what's going on today.
Sure. So today, a lot of interesting conversation will be happening. We have a guest joining us from Pakistan, Dr. Sadia Khalid. She's joining us from Lahore. We'll be having interesting discussions on the plastic pollution. In the second half, we'll be hearing all the way from Philippines. I'm also interested in that. Dan will be talking about his interesting projects. And then Inger and me will be engaging audience. We talk about COP28 actual speeches that are happening in Dubai. So, yes, so I'm looking forward to this session today, and I hope for the viewers as well, it will be an interesting dialogue.
It
Inger,
will
what do
be.
you have in mind with your
But
interesting
no, I
videos?
think we started off in Kenya and at the African Climate Summit in early September. So we had 90 days, and that's our journey. So we're bringing the spirit from our friends and partners in Nairobi, Kenya, and we will also so we will bring that along as well. But now we are ready to fly to Pakistan. So let us really fly. Let's.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum.
Wow.
Wow, Inger, that was an amazing intro video for our distinguished guest, Dr. Sadia Khalid. Hi, Dr. Sadia, can you hear us? Are you there with us?
Yes. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, and good afternoon. And I hope all are doing well, and all across the world, people are listening to us that what we are doing. Although in Pakistan, a common perception is that we have facing a lot of climate crisis, and we have a lot of most pressing issues in Pakistan, but isn't uh, isn't all bad in Pakistan. Many people are doing amazing initiative, just like my initiative that named as Let's Beat Plastic Pollution, and I am doing a climate action campaign in the public schools of Pakistan, in which I am teaching the young children that how to sort out the plastic waste and the basic requirements of segregation and managing their waste. As in all over the world, recycling is one of the very profitable businesses, and although we have very less options while we go to grocery, and we somehow we have to end up buying some products packed in plastic, but still through recycling we can make efforts for reduce that. So I would like Miss Sadaf to play the video what I have done so far in
Yes,
Pakistan.
Y-
yes. Let's play the video, Sadaf. And
Dora Chandani, Karamati City. Today I want to take a pledge to reduce plastic waste as I believe in eco-friendly environment because that environment is just because of us and we are just because of environment.
Wow, that's amazing,
Okay.
Dr. Sonia. Your video was quite inspirational, and it was what you're doing is amazing for plastic pollution. So I'm no sorry for the viewers. Sadia is having some technical issue. She can't put on her camera, but we'll be hearing her lovely story through her presentation that she's made. Sadia, are you ready to talk about your presentation?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay,
So
wonderful.
I hope you find this video very engaging and inspiring. And one thing I just want to give message for all the young people all around the world. Many people come that our local community is facing a lot of issues and a lot of things, and how to start the initiative. And most of the students or the young people are waiting for the funds or for other organizations to join in their efforts. But I always give this message that you don't need any funds, you don't need any organizations, international or local organizations, to work on the climate action. It is your own passion. From last 3 years, in 2019, I have taken the initiative of having a woman-led climate action initiative, Climate Education Warriors, as I was doing my own um, studies in field of curriculum studies and education. So I felt that there is a gap in Pakistan, that we don't have any climate action course for teaching the children that what are the effects of negative consequences of climate change, and how we can take those initiatives or how can we tackle them. So we all can do anything in our local communities, and it is only our effort. So let me start my presentation. So why we need the climate activism in Pakistan, and especially on the behalf of youth. So next slide, please. So many people may thought that what is climate activism? You have heard about political activism, social activism, or climate activism, and there are other forms of activism. So climate activism is also one kind of activism. It is basically the movement of individuals and groups that are advocating for the urgent action to address the climate change. As the COP28 that is going on in UAE, it is also a moment of many organizations working on the same agenda. So we as an individual, as a group, or even as an organization, we can take any kind of action to address the climate change, and then it aims to raise the awareness. Uh, we all know the negative consequences of, and now 8 billion people in the world are facing the extreme climate events, earthquakes, extreme weather patterns, and that all are affecting our social, economic life, and sustainable practices. So we need more efforts to pressurize our government to make the practical steps to reduce these greenhouse gas emissions and to protect the planet. Because if we do not protect the ecosystem biodiversity, and we do not monitor our own activities, then the effects on our future generations will be very drastic. So next slide. So, as a young person, what we can do, we all know that what are the causes and what are the effects of what is the cost of the cause of the rising temperature. We all know that all the countries are having a rapid industrialization, pollution, and population rise, and it is all resulting in the rising temperatures. We are not using the sustainable energy that is resulting in the melting of glaciers, rising the sea levels, and if the sea level rises, it will of course cause the tsunamis and unpredictable weather patterns. There are extreme weather events. For example, in the past decade in Pakistan, we have witnesses a lot of floods in our urban areas, which have destroyed our whole agricultural practices, and it also affect a negative effect on our economy also. So land degradation, deforestation, loss of wildlife and biodiversity, and it is all because of an unsustainable practices. So they are social, economic, and climate change or climate crisis is affecting all of us. It is not for one local community, for one country, or for anyone. It is for all of us that we need to take the actions. So, next slide, please. So, what is the impact of climate crisis in Pakistan? The people living in Pakistan, we already know that Pakistan has witnesses a lot of heavy monsoon rains and pre-monsoon rains, heat waves, tropical cyclones, flash floods, unwanted rains, and especially this pattern of heavy monsoon have destroyed our agricultural sector and economy very, very badly. And then from last 1 month, Lahore, as I am from Lahore, Lahore is facing the highest um, air quality index, air pollution, and it is due to the rising pollution and population because we government do not have a control on population, and we are just enhancing the urban areas without any planning. And then the water pollution, although Pakistan do not have problem of we do not have water scarcity, but we do have water pollution and lack of water management that is contaminating our water sources and a lot of more problems. And the land pollution, deforestation, siltation, dams construction, and water mismanagement because we do not having the proper research before constructing a dam into a particular river, and that results in a water mismanagement. And then the melting glaciers in our north because after the Arctic zone, our northern areas have the more numbers of glaciers, and so melting glacier is a very big concern in Pakistan. So these are the impact of climate crisis, and then the most pressing issue is increase of the plastic pollution. And if we do not control this plastic pollution, it will it will go into our rivers and then the seas, and then we can see the heaps of plastic pollution all over the country. So next slide, please. So So, why we need our youth to step in? So now this is the question I need that you all ask from yourself. Just close your eyes and think about for 2 or 3 minutes that what is our role. The first thing what we can do is that the personal efforts, because if we are doing the personal efforts, then it will become the collective effort. So our youth population is about 65 to 70%, and still we are having so many issues. And from if we step into this climate crisis, or we just address all these issues with our own best abilities, and it and the advocacy is a very little part of the climate activism. Of course, we need engineers, scientists, and many other people to step in and come with the uh, innovative solutions to address this. So it also related to environmental education, engineering, step education, and thus our youth can be empowered and they can raise their voices in a very effective manner. So next. So, let me motivate you with my own journey. I have been working for SDG 13 and 15 all over the world, all over the Pakistan. I have conducted many advocacy campaigns, cleanup drives in Sawat, Palam, Kumrat, Gilgit-Baltistan, and now my campaign "Let's Beat Plastic Pollution" is in Lahore. So I have still now have like targeted 1,000 young students to learn about the segregation and management of waste. So next, please. I have also worked as a freelance journalist, and I wrote many articles related to biodiversity, on the deforestation, mental and physical impact of climate crisis, and effect of microplastics and other pressing issues. And recently, I have been part of Pakistan Climate Action Fellowship, and this Beat Plastic Pollution was campaign funded by British Council and Peace and Justice Network and High Pakistan, Unicorn Black. These are the organizations who funded me for running their campaigns, and I've also developed a course development for Climate School Norway. And now this is my awareness campaign in public schools with the help of Helping Hand. So collaboration is very, very important. If you can trace your own local organizations that are working for climate change, and then you just give them or you just motivate them that this is my idea and this is how I can make a change. So please collab with me, and this is the way how you can bring many people, different groups or different organizations on one platform. So next, please. So this is some glimpses from Shaheen Women Leadership and Wildness Camp. And this is again a women-led leadership camp. I have taken almost 25 girls all around Pakistan, and we have traveled from Lahore to Gilgit-Baltistan, Hunza, Borit Lake, and Punjab. And this is basically the main purpose of this wilderness camp is to introduce those girls with the rich biodiversity we have um, in the northern areas, and that what we can do to initiate women leadership in those local communities. And we have also held some awareness session with the local community of Gulmit and Hunza. So next, please. So this is a wall painting of Green, Johanabad. So this is a Christian locality where we have indicated that there is limited awareness about the plastic pollution, and we have painted their walls, having the positive messages that how important it is to keep their area clean and green. And this is a very interesting, and even the local peoples are very much amused that you have come, and they also showed gratitude, and they are very thankful that we have come in their areas and we have beautified their walls. And this is a very like interesting idea. Instead of wall chalking with the negative messages, we can beautify our walls with very positive messages. So, that is a reminder that we need to save our world. Next, please. So this is STG conference with a collab of STG Academy, and we also initiated some awareness sessions for the youth to engage in this STG 13 and the climate action. Next, please. So this is another uh, camp for youth in Kalam with the collab of STG Academy. Again, the main purpose of having these leadership camps in northern areas is to introduce the youth with the rich ecosystem and biodiversity, and to give the awareness about the mountain ecosystem and how important it is to save the forest. And green ecosystem is an also important part of climate action. So next slide. So I have also conducted a teachers training for the climate change awareness, because of course whenever we are talking about that we need to educate our young students or young children in the educational institutions. So of course we also need to train the teachers that how could they motivate those students in the educational institutions about the climate change awareness sessions. And even in our science and social studies subjects, we can easily incorporate these topics about the ecosystem, biodiversity, saving the forest, atmosphere, different types of pollution and what are the solutions to tackle it. So it's not that difficult for the teachers to teach their students about the climate crisis, the climate change awareness. So next slide. So I also led a cleanest drive in Kumrat Valley, because when we traveled to Kumrat, there were no washrooms or no dustbins installed by the government. Although it was a very rich area for the tourism, and it's so beautiful. It is this area has thick forest but no facilities. So we camped here for 2 days, and after camping, as a responsible citizen, we just collected all our waste, and we just dispose of in a dump. Although it is not a very effective way, but we at that time this is the only solution. So this is what we do. Okay, for next slide. So this is the climate action fellowship in which I have educated the youth about the 3 R's, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle, and then segregation of waste, management of waste. I also urge the Lahore Waste Management Company to ban the single-use plastic, and I also initiated some meetings with the local government to install the dustbins at all main points of Lahore, and LWMC is really doing a great work. But still, as a responsible citizen, we also have some responsibilities, as I have seen many times that they have installed 3 different dustbins, but still we do not know how to sort out the plastic waste. So I guess we just not only need to educate the younger generation about how to use those dustbins, but we also need to educate all the people in their regional languages that how to use those dustbins and how to sort out the plastic waste. So next, please. So this is an other healing circle which in a local college. Next. So this is a Green Youth Fest where I have just participated as a speaker. Next. So this is my ongoing campaign. Next. So, individual and collective actions are very, very important. Um, uh, for these sessions, I am giving to the students of public schools. First of all the public schools are located in such localities where the awareness about the plastic pollution is very, very limited, and the people and the community is not that much responsible. So that is why I have selected the public schools to empower the students, because in their books there is no concept of 3 R's, and they are not much aware about these concepts. So so that is why I have selected, and then I'm also giving them the financial freedom and the financial literacy, that there is a concept green enterprise. So now I guess we all need to motivate the young people that how they can even earn by investing in the green enterprise, that if they care about the planet earth, they can also start their eco-friendly businesses. So recycling business is one of the profitable businesses in the world. And if I just ask their teachers that to make their own dustbins with the reusable material, and then put it in one corner of the classroom, and after 1 week or after 2 weeks collect that all the waste and give it to the local recycling unit. And then if they earn 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 30 rupees, then tell those students that this is due to their efforts. It is giving them the financial freedom and financial literacy, that with little efforts we are earning. And because in public schools there is a limitation of the classroom resources, so I just ask them to reuse that money into beautifying their classrooms. This is the initiative I'm taking, and I am just targeted for 3 or 4 schools, and now I will be targeting more in the coming months. So individual and collective efforts can become a very big campaign if you want to. So next. So this thing, next thing is that first part of the climate activism is advocacy and engaging the community to know about the different issues. This is the only first part. The second part is the is coming up with the innovative ideas or coming up with the eco-friendly practices and then investing in that thing. In Pakistan, we have very talented students, engineers who have the technical knowledge, and they can easily come up with those project of like in renewable energy. For example, if we can build a cycle with a solar plate, or we can also invest in making any robot who can clean the roads of Pakistan or nearby. We can invest in the sustainable transport. I visited Nast university, and one appreciable step from them is that they have installed local bicycle stands and students use them. So this is the thing to reduce the impact of the pollution we are having with our vehicles. And then the tree plantation and the spaces, all the universities or educational institutions can also use their cafeteria based in making the compost, and then that compost can be sell into the market or even using to beautify their green spaces in the universities. And in Pakistan, our universities are having a lot of big green spaces, so we can give them a very different shape if we want to. So there are many technologies. And even I also, if uh, any management heads are listening from any university, I just need to urge them that they must have small grants that should be given to children to start their technical or innovative inventions to tackle this climate crisis. Because it is not only that we are just waiting for the government to ban something, or they are also they are also having the smart lockdown for reducing the impact of the air pollution. These are very limited solutions. We have to come up with our own solutions. So this is the community effort. So next slide, please. So, how we can use the technology and the digital platforms for the climate activism? We can like this. We could not go to COP28 physically, so we are just organizing a virtual event. We do not need to invest, or we do not need to present at um, all the events going on related to climate change. We can just start our own campaigns at our hometown. So digital campaigns are the best one to urge the governments, to urge the international and local communities and organizations to take the steps. And then the creating the online resources, this is one of the aspect I felt that it is quite missing. That whenever I just search about the technical content related to climate crisis, I cannot access them freely. Most of the resources, online resources, are available on the paid site. So that is what we can do. We can start a online resources library, so where we can assess the authentic information. And the promotion of the sustainable lifestyles. And this is the one thing I again want to urge all the fellows, that it starts from ourselves. If I am talking about reducing the plastic waste in my life, so I need to have have the personal commitment in my own life. If we do not uh, if we do not have the personal commitment in our own life, then we cannot do anything. So first, try to have those practices in your own life, and then urge the urge the other members of your household or community and to adopt a sustainable lifestyle. And the development of a mobile app and a website, I know a fellow from my Facebook account that he made a mobile app that to monitor our personal carbon footprints in our daily lives. So I guess it is a very creative mobile app. So we can have such kind of mobile apps or websites that can monitor the carbon footprints, or it can even use for the water filtration or other such useful purposes. And then the internet of IoT's devices to collect real time data on air quality, water pollution, and other environmental issues. Interactive mobile games, and through the interactive mobile games we can easily engage the students, especially the young children, because young children are more motivated and they can easily adopt sustainable habits. So we just need to develop that behavior in them. Then the robot technology, and even many countries are already working on it, and in Pakistan or developing countries we need to invest in that. Next slide please. And then how you can contribute. So first of all, anyone of you is listening to me, first of all, try today, just explore, go around your neighborhood and see what is the most pressing issue related to climate crisis. Create a very attractive awareness and advocacy campaign, and then just start with your Facebook, and then join different groups, and you can start anyway. And then the climate resilience trainings for the journalists, for the students, for the professional people, it is important for all of us. Then the based adaptation projects, the communities which are more prone to the vulnerable weather conditions, they must have those trainings and the projects. Research and innovation, it is very important for the university students who are in their like engineering, STEM education, and other technology based subjects in which we really need to excel. And the climate entrepreneurship, green enterprise, and startup, we need to also think about it. And then engaging with the policy making. Of course, if our country is not having the effective policy to tackle this, then all our efforts will go in vain. So next, please. So this is all from my side, and I hope it will give some kind of motivation that I have traveled all across Pakistan with very less and limited resources, and Miss Sadaf knows that how much committed and passionate, and I didn't wait for any kind of funding and all that. So you also do that. So that is my main purpose of this presentation and showing my work. And I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you get some kind of motivation from it. Thank you.
Wow, Sadia, it was brilliant. I'm so proud of you. And I have worked with Dr. Sadia, as she mentioned. I was happy to see the STG youth pictures that you put in there as well. So I'll hand it over to Inger now. Inger is plastic pollution is very close to my friend Inger. Inger, what's your take on the amazing work which Sadia is doing? And I'm glad that her work we are showcasing globally. As we say, COP28 is not in Dubai, it's in our home, in our communities, in your countries. So it was a very interesting, informative presentation and amazing work which Sadia is doing. Over to you, Inga.
Yes, indeed. It is amazing work, Sadia, and thank you for your presentation. Applaud for you and the work that you do, and the passion and the stamina that you bring forward. And and um, and also what I really liked about your presentation is at the beginning you're saying that 60 to 70% of the population in Pakistan are youth, and how to empower the youth movement from climate activists and into actions that can be get a green job. And because the waste industry, and rightly as you said, I like the easy conceptual thing about the 3 R's that can be easily understood by children in schools to learn how to activate some systemic actions when it comes to waste. And rightly again, and you said the C, or the composting, and how to turn the resources from these 3 R's into resources that can be soil and energy and bio gas empowerment. And there's so many things that you're touching there in all the work that is just like amazing work, and I'm just applauding you. And when it comes to you mentioned the World Climate School in your conversation here, and thank you for that. I really liked it because the work that we did with when Sadaf was working with Dr. Ahmad Jafri and Mr. Jinnah and Iram Fawad and everyone. It is, and the SDG Academy of Pakistan. That the work that we initiated is it's just like it's like I'm humbling down a lot, because it's not about me. It's about a we in many ways, and it's about the you as us in plural, and how we can come together, because just trying to clean up this mess, trying to get the rivers clean up, the lakes clean up, the waste in the street clean up, in the countryside clean up. It's a extreme big job to do. And also from a Norwegian side, when it really took off in Norway was when the whales were found with dead on the beaches with plastic in their stomachs. So that all the sea creatures of the planet, of the blue planet in the ocean, is also facing this extreme pollution that we as humans are created. So I'm just applauding you, Sadia, and all the team around you, and of course my friend and colleague Sadaf as well. And I really think that we should find a way to join radical partnerships and build institutions. And institutions is just as much as organizations that can survive and thrive and have an income of doing this new job that we have to do together. Over back to you, Sadaf, and guide us where to go next, and in a conversation to steer it.
Yeah. Brilliant, Inger. So my question to Sadia is, like, as for the online viewers, we're broadcasting live on different channels. Sadia, I was just following the comments. So as you say, how you started your journey of climate warriors, and you initially mentioned in your presentation, you don't need a lot of funding for these projects. It's the passion, it's the education, it's the awareness campaign. You intensively, I follow you, travel all across Pakistan. You visit these rural communities. My passion and focus is also because those people need our help, people like you. What will be your message for our online, especially the youth of Pakistan, who are right now, they're quite eager and they're taking all pictures in the COP28 and they're participating, but they haven't started the journey which you have already. So, what's your advice to all the youth of the amazing work that you do? Have you signed up? Is your organization, are you welcoming youth? Do you want to make a team so that what you are doing, imagine if you have 100 youth, Sadia, the triple effect it will have of your amazing work that you're doing.
Okay, if you not notice in my video that I have taken the pledge from all around the Pakistan in different regional languages. So I have a team and I have many fellows from Gilgit-Baltistan, KP, Balochistan, Sindh, Punjab, Kashmir. So I tried to add all the people in my team, and I also welcome anyone who is ready to contribute in the content development, in the graphics or the video or anything. I'm always welcome there, and I can give them the tips that how they can reach the local community, how they can reach the local grants, and all of that. I'm ready to do that. And Pakistan, as we all know, that Pakistan is a geographical rich area. We have different kind of land in Balochistan. We have different type of land in Sindh, KP, Gilgit-Baltistan, Azad Kashmir, and Punjab. And all the communities have different kind of issues. If I talk about Lahore, or if I talk about Lahore, Faisalabad, Multan, I live in Punjab. So many cities in Punjab are quite developed already, but what they are facing the issue of plastic pollution and population and access to the healthcare. And if we talk about the mountainous communities, they don't have the basic necessities of life. And if we talk about Sindh and Balochistan, they are facing the issue of the clean drinking water, or water that is enough for their agricultural activities. So first of all, I just want to give all a message to our younger generation that come up uh, with an opening heart. If we see the problems of different communities with a limited lens, then we cannot work from them. Professionally, I'm working with a healthcare organization in Pakistan, and from last 1 year, I have seen so much misery around this, that what kind of healthcare system we are giving to, and healthcare is one of our basic right. So there are so many issues. And if I'm also working on interfaith harmony, so it is not like that belonging to one region or belonging to one language or one religion, we have all the rights in this world. No, everyone should have access to the basic right, and we should understand that. And if I have, like, if I'm good at education, if I'm good at research, then I can contribute more to those local communities. And basically, first of all, assess your abilities, talent, and then the resources that how you can gather, or even now crowdfunding is one of a very useful tool to collect the funds for a particular issue too. So just first of all, um, like come up with a perspective that what you really want to do, assess your abilities and the skills, and then assess the what issue that touches your heart, what is your passion, and then start working. But first, you have to take the first step without any fear, and then you have to go into a very systematic way. If you can feel like, okay, now you just launch a campaign, and on the next day you are having a 1000 USD dollar grant, it is not possible. You have to take very small steps to start.
Thank you.
Rightly, Sadi, I think it was that's what I wanted you to share, because as we say, we all know that climate problems in underdeveloped countries like Pakistan, plastic pollution, water pollution, health problems, like we discussed, Lahore is facing smog issues, people are down with respiratory problems. It's getting serious and scarier day by day. We know that it's there, but it's
Yes.
people like you who are creating an impact. As Inger is also representing World Climate School, I think education awareness, I think I am very happy to see Inger, the youth taking interest in climate change. They're so excited. What
Absolutely.
they want to do something, because I feel that the youth is the future for to save our planet Earth. It started with Greta Thunberg and so on. There's so many followers that she has internationally, locally, people like Sadia, and we want to showcase their stories globally. And that's what It's For You campaign is.
Yes.
It's for you, it's for me, it's for everyone. And Sadia,
Absolutely.
I wish Sadia was in touch with me, Inger. I'll share this interesting story. She really wanted to participate in Dubai, and I was so busy. I hope next time we can arrange some sponsorship and funding, and Sadia would be invited as a guest speaker, and we showcase her work. I don't know when the next where the next COP is. Maybe, I don't know, in Pakistan. if we have a COP. I don't know whether that is going to happen or not. But Inger, I'll come back to you. So, Inger, how do you see the collaboration of World Climate School with Sadia? And I'm connecting you with so many people. How can the knowledge sharing, you have a platform, you have people, what can you bring into the table from Norwegians' perspective, or the experience that you just went to India, and India and Pakistan have the similar challenges? How can you bring your expertise with people like Sadia for awareness campaigns?
So thank you for the question. It's many ways to answer it, but I'll try to do my best. First of all, again, it's again a thank you for already the initiatives that we've been started 3 years back or so, and again, one thing is the young children, like the 3 Rs and the C, composting and climate change, like the complex issue of the structures of climate education, and basic literacy, like foundational for literacy in to read and mathematics. How do you do that? Speed up that together, because the unintended consequences of making money on waste is that children that is close to the landfills or to the waste organization will not go to school. They will be jumping into earning money and start working as child laborers in cleanups, and that is dangerous. So we have to combine the foundation to learn and to read and to learn mathematics as fast as we can. And in India, that is what we kind of piloting around the world. And I'm working with Sunita Gandhi in India. It's part of the city of Lucknow with a physical school for children, primary school education institution with 20 campuses in the city of Lucknow. It is 60,000 pupils in the school, and it's in Wikipedia recognized as the biggest school on the planet. And in the state of Uttar Pradesh, it's 300 million inhabitants, and in Pakistan you have 200 million inhabitants. And in fact, you are representing the culture of the crowd, the culture of many people. I'm living up in the ice-cold north, where only few people live. So I'm a culture of the few, and we are only 5 million people. So in many ways, I have what can I do? It's I'm questioning myself with a humble way that you have the challenges, you have the people, you are the crowd, and this thing about how to scale up the transformation of owning the problem. The big people in Pakistan, the polluters, the production and the facilities, the fashion industry as such. I'm coming from fast fashion, or like fashion in general, but most fashion is fast fashions. Very little is actually high luxuries.
Yeah.
So that is the one thing set up. Let me continue to talk fast. The other one is youth, and we've been talking about it together with you for a long time. It's like to learn and to earn. That's where we have to speed up the challenges now. Because youngster that is 14, 16, like Greta Thunberg age when she started, they are now 20. They are grown-ups. They are leaders. That's where we have to put empowerment and to get the green jobs or the blue jobs, to the sustainable organization that is coming up. And also, everybody's talking poetically about Mother Earth, and rightly so. It's the pulsing heart of the blue planet, and with a green footprint on it to clean up on land and in the ocean and all rivers and all the lakes. But the mother of crisis, the mother of inventions, that is a power now. Crisis is the mother of invention, that when we come together, put our heart together, as Salid is saying, it creates emotional, compassionate bonds that is trust building, that is empowering women and is empowering youngsters around the world. And I've been engaging with Kenya for a long time, and also my love and care for Zimbabwe, as my daughter is Zimbabwean and we've been living there. I've been studying there, democracy and climate change for a long
Yeah.
time. So I'm stressing this thing again with the fact that we are we are directly in COP with youngsters from Kenya, youngsters from Pakistan, and that is one of the messages. And I right now know that we're trying to get in touch with some youth voices from Kenya that is in Dubai. So we are kind of getting from the countryside in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, don't
Yeah.
take my. Let me continue. Let me continue. I'm in Oslo. The biggest diaspora for immigrants in Oslo are Pakistani. So we have the Pakistani, Norwegian, Pakistan, the partnership. We can do it. And I have so much to share and so much to activate. It's the creativity and the artist mind that gets actions on the ground now, and we can do it with less resources. So we can start small, but we can in that it's a big ripple on our stage. So I'm wondering if we should try to get some voices from Dubai and Kenyan youngsters on the stage. And I'd like to welcome Larry, who has been working with us throughout the 90 days as we started. So let's see if Larry is from Dubai. He is.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
We hear you
Yeah.
fine. You're live. You're live.
Yeah. Sorry about the background noise. Yeah.
Before Larry starts, I would like to thank Dr. Sadia for the first discussion that we had from Pakistan. Dr. Sadia, thank you so much for your presentation. It was amazing. We'll be in touch,
It's
and we'll
amazing.
be inviting you for the grand finale on the 12th, inviting all our speakers, and we will be appreciating your contribution to It's For You campaign, which is running from 1st to 12th December in Dubai, COP28. Thank you so much, Dr. Sadia Khalid.
Wow.
So we are ready for our next session as well. Before we start, yes, Singer, back to you.
Let's
live slow, we love deep, we fly high. We live fast, we live slow, we love deep, we fly high. To serve the world, we have to go fast into very slow. And rich people, plastic, fantastic, and poor people living their full emotional scale of being humans, where emotions are real. Look, the rich are asking the poor to stop buying shoes. That is all fine. If you have 100 pair of shoes, I have one pair.
over to you. How did it feel to hear your beautiful music, Larry? You made
was
this.
amazing, man. You're a great lyricist. I mean, the words were flowing, and I just had an easy time like recording the whole song and just listening to it. Yesterday I played it before I started my performance at the dinner I mentioned, and the guys really loved it, and they appreciated the fact that we have there are musicians who are actually incorporating like matters climate change into their music and lyrics, because mostly they invite like just generally musicians who sing about love songs and just life and everything that comes with it, just for entertainment. But this is edutainment. I like to call it edutainment because it's an education, and still you're getting entertained and you can dance to it, but still as you pay attention you're able to like listen to solutions and cries and just generally what's going on around the world and what solutions different people have adapted so that they can
Yeah.
mitigate climate change. So thank you so much for the great lyrics, and we need to work on an album definitely.
So tell us, how was it to fly from Kenya to Dubai? How is it in Dubai? Just give us a brief update on the spot when we are able to catch you live from Dubai.
For starters, it was I was scared of the weather because normally the weather in Dubai is normally hot. Good thing is that it was a fair weather. I heard that it's like winter. This is winter for them, and it's like the fairest weather they can have in all the seasons. So coming from Kenya, just preparing, I had to make sure that I was actually prepared through transformational ownership, like the It's For You movement. So I had like a role of actually
Water
leading
ate
businesses.
water.
So tell, how is It's For You? Do you get feedback from It's For You in Dubai? Do they like it at COP28?
They are actually amazed with the whole concept of buying out oil, gas, and coal companies and giving out the profits to people, and the concept of actually promoting sustainable businesses, which will urge the other businesses that are still using fossil fuels to run their businesses, and the whole concept of adapting or rethinking choices where you promote the sustainable businesses and urging the other businesses to either transition or run out of businesses. So the whole that particular concept, they love it because most of the people are just calling for a stop fossil fuels.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
yeah, I feel like It's For You has a deeper understanding and a better narrative than what most of the other organizations
Yeah,
are
yeah.
like pushing
So,
for here.
so let's say we're zooming. We're getting a new guest on the call, but hang around with us, and we can get back to you if you have time to be with us for some more minutes. Otherwise, we're just fading you out, and we wish you welcome our next guest. Your music is beautiful.
Yeah, this one, yeah, we made it with the mid. Really out
Only
there.
myself, the planet, save it now. Yeah. Good originates from accepting that there are limits. Good comes from limits. Rethink those choices. Chunga vile una purchase. Think of your consumption. What's the point? I mean,
But over to you, Sada. We're fading out and welcoming our next guest.
Yes, Inger, that was amazing hearing Larry all the way from COP28. Yes, so hi viewers, we're our kickoff session on the fourth day for COP, which is happening in Dubai from 1st December. We are running today now. Welcome to our second session of the day. And I welcome my distinguished friends, Mr. Dan, all the way joining from Philippines. Hi, Dan. How are you? Good to
Hello,
see
Dan.
you.
We're going to play You Are Welcome before you get your own, so you can prepare yourself. It's like a countdown. So welcome to the stage. Here we go. Let's get this kicking. Welcome, Dan.
Wow, that was amazing. Dan, can you hear us?
Yes, good evening from the Philippines and good afternoon there in Pakistan and in the Cup
Thank you
20.
so much. So I'll introduce Dan Diaz, who's joining us all the way from Philippines. He's a climate justice activist and international speaker. He's representing Seed Ventures. I've seen him, I'm following him. I haven't met him in person, but he's a great inspiration on leadership, sustainability, and green businesses. His passion for people and the planet brought him help and mobilize eco actions in the island and indigenous communities. His training experience and global involvement in social enterprise and sustainable development made a mark because of his dedicated commitment to sharing this with the grassroots communities. Welcome, Dan. And we are very excited, and our viewers, to hear your interesting work that you're doing all the way in Philippines. How do you feel about COP28, what is happening in Dubai? And then we'll play your introductory video as well. Yes, Dan, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Sadaf. And yes, it's great to be participating actively via Zoom through It's For You. And this really session for COP28 virtual brings about uh, amplifying our grassroots campaign, our grassroots action, our communities that are vulnerable in the islands in the Philippines that are already experiencing sea water rise. Their fishing harvest, especially the seaweeds, our corals here in the country has been affected by these what we call um, coral destruction from typhoon, aside from bleaching of corals, a lot of damages by the strong typhoon, which is, destruction of poverty of the properties, agriculture. We've already experienced here like extreme weather events from like in the morning we experience like so hot weather, and in later afternoon we have heavy rainfalls, and so many experiences that we in the city that's urban are impacted so much more in our islets, because the Philippines is composed of more than 7,000 islands. And imagine these small islands are very remote. In fact, they don't even have access to electricity, clean water, as well as internet connectivity. So these are the real situation. We are representing the indigenous people, our communities that are also affected in the what we call marsh areas. They live in floating villages in the marsh, and their water level is also being affected because of not only human illegal activities of cutting of trees, of diverting the marsh water, but the impacts of change of weather from rain to dry season is affecting our food. It's really affecting the vulnerable communities as well as person with disabilities. So we are happy that this year we're focusing our effort to include disaster risk programs by these person with disabilities in the local governance and making them part of the role on climate action. So that's for us here in Philippines. What we're doing, I'm a founder of Seed for Com. It's a nonprofit organization, and I do have some videos made by our volunteer. It's supposed to be for what you call for a documentary for student science video, but even though it did not qualify for the selection for the finals, but at least you can see what we are doing in one of the islets in terms of energy, in terms of environment, education, and entrepreneurship. So if we have time, Sadaf can help
Yes,
us show those video for everybody.
exactly. Let me play it for you, Dan. Here we go.
In the heart of the Philippine archipelago lie the vibrance of pristine beaches, clear blue waters, and resilient island communities. These communities, with a rich cultural heritage and deep connection to the sea. However, the country is no longer stranger to disasters. Natural disasters such as like Typhoon Odette have devastated these island communities.
Ako di ay si Jan Flex Sintulan, usa ka Cordobadhon na estudyante. Ang akong nasinati abot sa Baguio Hotel kay nag-uul tungod naguba ang among panimalay, walay kuryente, o walay tubig na mainon.
What Mr. Singkulan faced from Typhoon Odette is also what's happening in geographically isolated disadvantaged areas or GIDA. They faced extra challenges during disasters because they're often far out of reach, causing problems for students and families. In the wake of a devastating typhoon, life on these resilient islands were cast into profound darkness.
This is in Roro Port, Cordova, Cebu. All the island hopping, fishing boats are totally damaged.
A person recognized the issue of these island communities. Dan Diaz, a dedicated advocate for environmental sustainability, and is making a profound impact in Visayas through his organization Seed for Com with life-changing innovations.
I am Dan Diaz, the founder of Sustainable Energy and Enterprise Development for Communities, or Seed for Com.
Sir Dan Diaz has been at the forefront of eco-driven initiatives, championing renewable energy, education, the environment, and responsible entrepreneurship, provide energy access during disaster response.
We started this NGO after the Super Typhoon Haiyan. That was 2013. We experienced this impact of climate change to our vulnerable country, the Philippines. Because of that, there were loss of power in the cities and island communities. So we partnered with Project Enkindle from Singapore, and we are still continuing its program called Hero of Light.
Seed for Com has deployed a Class 1 renewable energy system innovation. The Eco Solar Lamp features main components including a 1.5 watt solar panel, a 1 watt LED light, and repurposed plastic bottles.
First, as a Seed4Com is sustainable. So we promote sustainability, and sustainability usana ni ana ang renewable energies, which is solar panels, and mo na sa among gi-promote nga ina-use nga technologies sama sa among isla. Aduna na kitay Wi-Fi connect powered by solar panels, Starlink.
Other initiatives such as Pisonet, alternative learning system, mobile pangkal, and fish aggregating device for fishermen.
Nagpasalamat big dako nila nga daghan sila programa nga nakuha, daghan sila gitabangan nga magamit sa pagmananagat sa puto nga nakatabang. Ya kani ilang piso ni dako sa kani gikatabang uban nga mga estudyante nga na sila i-conserves. Gamit na lang sila ani.
Doon nakahatag yun og dako nga haruhay gamay sa mong mga mananagat sama sa panggal. Doon nami nakabenepisyo sa panggal. So daghan nakahatag og karuhay gid gamay ang mga proyekto nga gihatag ni Sir Dan Damo.
Dako kay kung pasalamat kay niabot gid sila sa among lugar.
Seed4Com is one of the champion on sustainable development goals, addressing the need to include persons with disabilities, women, as well as last mile communities. Our strength in the organization lies on our volunteer and partners.
Being a volunteer, there's no wala say bayad, but dili gyud ka kuan ang fulfillment no sa atong kasing-kasing if kita makatabang sa atong isig katawo.
interesado ako niapil sa Steppercom. Ugusan ako sa nahimong Hero of Light Trainer. Diin kami mag-trick sa mga kabatan-unang at even single parents sa paghimo o surlap para sa ilang panimalay nga walay suga o para sad sa ilang maayo.
We're happy to note that through this partnership, we are addressing this gap on rural and last mile communities in the areas of environment, education, energy, and entrepreneurship. So we encourage everyone to be our volunteers as well as partners for this campaign to reach our last mile communities all over the country.
Seed4Com empowers resilient communities with technology, lighting up homes and dreams. These innovations are more than gadgets, they're tools of hope. Sudan's prowess in action and limitless journey to communities and other sectors had once again proved to people that not all heroes wear capes. To them, he is their greatest benefactor, their hero of light.
Thank you so much, visitors!
Yes, so that's our short video made by our volunteer student, Mr. Tambis. Currently, he's still studying in the State University and making time, to help us document what we're doing. So, yes, that's what we do. One of the islands, we also go to upland communities. We work with farmers. The idea here is agriculture is also being impacted with these global temperature rise. There's problem in their harvest season because in ideally it's like uh, harvest season, but the problem now is there's a mix between dry, hot, and then rainy, so erratic change of weather. So it really affects their uh, produce as well as food security. So it impacts a lot here with what we do with our farmers and fisher folks. We call them food heroes.
Wow, I like that, David. I would like you to put it as food
Yeah.
heroes. That's a nice slogan. That
Farmers and fisher folks, our heroes. But here in the Philippines and in developed countries, it's a sector that's under lacked opportunity. And in developed countries or the first world countries, the farmers and fisher folks are affluent. They live in a good economic living, no? But here we found out, like in the Philippines and maybe in other developed countries, these farmers and fisher folks has been abused. Yeah.
Inger, I would like you to engage with Dan because Inger is also quite passionate globally. She's working on climate change. You've seen Dan's amazing work. Uh, how can we bring in Philippines perspective in other countries? How can Dan's work be an inspiration and his project with other countries recently, like Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, all these coastal areas face similar issues. And Dan's is a success story. That's why we call it It's for You, It's for Me, It's for Everyone. Knowledge sharing. I know Dan has a story behind this. It's not easy when you start a nonprofit, you have challenges. But if Dan has delivered, and I see and I follow his work intensively, I think that if anyone else can do it, and how would you bring that into conversation, Inger?
Sadaf, first of all, thank you, Dan. You're bringing up a very special story here, and it's dear to me because my daughter has been traveling in the Philippines, and she took her diving uh, lessons in the Philippines. And so, of course, as a mom, I was very scared for that activities, but she loved it. She loved it deeply. Um, so I'm living on the coast of Norway, so I'm not in Oslo as a base. I'm on the countryside. My family is actually fish farmers, so what can I say, from a long heritage. So we live on the 100 meters from the Atlantic Ocean with the big waves, and know everything about that. As my grandmother used to collect garbage at the time, it was always exciting to find stuff. But of course, it has changed for the last 100 years. It is a different story altogether. And you're so right, Dan, about the fishermen community in Norway. They are rich people. They have flexible incomes, working maybe in the oil industry, and then they're doing the fishing, the lobster fishing, the crabs and the salmon fishing, and other people are working in the fish farming as of salmon fish farming. So they are wealth. The wealth is very strong in the fisher communities and the farming communities. And what I see along the coastline, we've been engaging, not as a World Climate School, but I'm engaging as a fashion activist, I will say, because on sustainable fashion, we had a campaign a couple of years back that we find microplastic in the ocean and in the fjords from the fashion industry, and we worked with the coastal cleanup around the coast of Norway, looking at bringing the 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 education on the waste in on the ocean and the fjords were given by people on boats, like an educational boat, along from one place to another, from one city and village to the other on the coastline of Norway. And it's a lot of things. So we have a plastic fund that is really clear, having a structure that is paying out to volunteers and NGOs to work. And also, before I continue, Sadaf, if you please allow me, I would like to share the initiative that I was part of launching in Barcelona in this summer in Spain. So I will share my screen on that one and just give you straight to plastic. Uh, Here you can. I expect you can see my screen right now on the plastic, the art of recycling. So this is a company, an enterprise that I'm engaging with and work with, and this is the art of recycling. And you can see here is a payment structure. So we're making we have to change and de-invest from the production of plastic. And as we know, the industry of food is connected to plastic because for example, the noodles and the chips and the biscuits and the chocolate wrapping and all the wrapping and all our items in the food industry is connected to pollution and the waste that we see. So I'm working on this with the football team of the Barcelona indirectly, and this is like one idea that we like to get flying and to fly from Kenya. I was initiating this in Kenya. I do have a story to share about Kenya as well, to which we can really present our listeners that this is for you. It's for everyone. To clean up the blue ocean and the one ocean. It's a journey that we are all together on. But it's just a way to how can we do it, Dan? So I'm ready from the Norwegian side to see how can we work together with you, how can we work together with enterprises, like if I make ideas fly, like Telenor in the Asia, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in Singapore, in the Philippines. It's a whole ocean there to clean up. And we have to do it together. And let me stop sharing the story of the art of recycling from the plastic. But this is the way we can create uh, partnership across borders, across in countries, and from small to big, from small organizations, NGOs, to bigger organizations, so we can really bring forward this partnership that is unique, you know. And
Dad, would you like to respond to that before Inger continue?
Yes, thank you, Inger, no?
Angel, yes,
Inger, yes. It's good that your child or your daughter had visited the Philippines, and in 2019, I also did visit Norway in Lofoten. So
wow,
uh,
beautiful.
beautiful island. It's just like small island, but it brings in tourism. It brings in the opportunity of people to interact with the fishing communities, the traditional way of fishing, and and then
Absolutely,
aside
yes,
from seeing the beautiful aurora borealis, I mean, when I arrived there in 2019 from Budo, I think from Budo to Svolvær in
yes,
Lofoten,
correct.
I
It's correct.
decided to walk to my hotel from the time that I arrived in the airport. I decided not to take the bus to the city, but walk. I don't know how many hours, but at this like 5 a.m. towards I don't know 8 or 9 o'clock. I appreciate the view, and the topic for that was about oceans, and
Of course.
there were different leaders on initiatives on marine litter. Uh, Here
Yeah.
in my group, we had a banner campaign, National Cleanup Day. We partnered with the Ministry of Environment in 2015 as a national movement of all Filipinos that we will do a 1 day national cleanup, not just going to the beach line, but from reef to ridge. So, because we know that we are all interconnected. What we do in the upland communities, whether we destroy the mountain quarry or throw any illegally dumped waste, will always goes to our shorelines, and then we do that cleanup. There's always a problem on marine litter, especially plastics. And we know plastic comes from fossil fuel, it's petrochemical. So the more we use plastics, then the more we are addicted to the fossil fuel
Yes,
industry. So it's important to redesign, to refuse, to bring back our innovation, looking at the wisdom, the indigenous knowledge, the experience of our lolos or the grandmas or the grandpa, what they do sustainably without plastics as much as possible. And it's good to talk about plastic recycling, but we have to think that when we recycle plastic, we utilize a lot of water, we utilize a lot of energy. So there are always carbon footprints, etc. So,
etc., etc., etc.
etc. So
So, etc. You know, then
it's
you know
non-stop.
the yeah, it's a non-stop. You know what? With the World Climate School, I've just recently been in India,
Mm-mm.
and where my partner has also been to Thailand, and my heart is also that I'm a surfboard fanatic. So I'm really like a stand up surfer, like a stand-up sup.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have
So
that here as
yeah, yeah,
well.
yeah. So this, but so in Thailand and my network in Bali, and then they are really doing a campaign like in multiple way with people that is in love with the ocean, like surfers, like divers. You know, so you kind of unite this thing about adventure sports and tourism into the love and the love and care for the ocean and from the beaches and the livelihood and the beauty. You know, it's sometimes to being a tourist, if you a tourist is just good and bad, you know, but you know most of it, it's like a love to
Yeah.
travel to the Philippines,
Mm-mm.
to the beauty of nature and the country. You know, it's love for a tourist to travel, and that's the same thing as Sadaf is also saying, that tourism is like a way to to bring forward something good. And for you, Dan, also to travel to the Lofoten, to the north of Norway, and to see the northern lights. I expect it was in the night that you came, or like in the winter you came to Lofoten.
That was around September, I think. So yeah, at least for
Yeah,
the 2 days I stayed there too. I've seen the
northern
aurora.
and
Yeah,
Aurora. Yeah, yeah.
weather. It was
Uh,
October. I think it's
I-
October.
Mhm.
October of
so
2019.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
So
have another question coming back to plastic pollution, hot topic for today. Also, before Dan, a very good speaker from Pakistan was talking about plastic pollution. So my question, focusing to Philippines, is that as I come from the hospitality and tourism industry and all these beaches, you get massive tourism to visit these places, and the plastic pollution that is causing on the beaches, and you are very active in cleanup. Currently, what's Philippines government or the private organization strategy? Are they representing, because COP is happening in Dubai? First of all, my question to you is, who's representing Philippines? Is your prime minister there? Which organizations are there? What are their plans for the COP28 when they come back? Second question to you is, are there any companies working actively to recycle? When you collect this, where does all these plastic waste go after the beach cleanups? Are there any recycling plants or major companies working in Philippines where you can recycle these plastic waste? These are my two focus questions regarding COP28, the campaign that we are running for It's For You. Yes, Dan.
Okay, thank you, Sadaf. Those two questions. So first, the president of the Philippines, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., was supposed to join in person for the COP28, but recently he made an announcement that he can't join. But we have a delegation. We have the Climate Change Commission in the Philippines under the Office of the President, and they are there doing the negotiation for the loss and damage, which we are so happy that a lot of the Philippine non-government individuals as observers, a lot of my friends are going there. But for me, I haven't been to any COP uh, activity, whether in person. So just follow virtually. Um, yes, we have some friends doing exhibits on the Philippine situation, and it's really a lot of discussions, and it's really political. But sometimes at the end of the COP, what will be the agreement? First and foremost, the Philippines, as one of the vulnerable island countries, demand polluters to pay. So that's justice. It's not that we are asking for donation or charity. It's climate justice, because these countries and big polluters are emitting a lot of greenhouse gas that the vulnerable island countries are practically impacted. Our shorelines, our island communities are, when the water reach like 2 meters high altitude, then the island is covered with water. So we're experiencing already sea water rise, and when there is sea water rise in the island, then those plants, those vegetables, those fruits will be dead, except for those fruits that are vulnerable for salt water, right? Second question about plastics. So the Philippine government already had what we call the expanded extended producers responsibility act. It's already been implemented. uh, Big companies that are producing plastic has to have their own plan of collecting and diverting them from the landfill to recycling or upcycling. So they are required by the Ministry of the Environment, and then these can be an opportunity for the groups that can be part of this economic activity from waste sector. But the Philippines is archipelagic. So when you talk about recycling industry, it's not all over the region. It's mostly in the capital Manila, where's a lot of people, a lot of development. But in the other areas in the island region, there's no recycling. So the cost of collecting and transport of these materials is very costly. So therefore, when people bring in their recyclable plastics, it will be cheaper value because of the cost of logistics. So as a developing country, a lot are in the low class category. So the companies are really very intelligent for them to earn a lot of money every day. So they put these goods in small sachet, like coffee in a sachet that you can just instantly make it and then buy again for tomorrow. So imagine every day you buy this small sachet, whether it's coffee, shampoo, toothpaste, soap, whatsoever, in small packets, then it contributes a lot of plastic pollution. And the local government, the budget for the waste management will be allotted, and it's so expensive, no, to manage these plastics uh, that are not supposedly produced by the local government. So good that there's the EPR. So we need more recycling, and then we need more redesigning of this packaging. And then the cleanups has to be done more regularly as part of the programs of the government. Segregation, don't accept mixed waste. And here in Cebu and few hotels, they already stopped promoting these plastics in their soap. So it's liquid, it can be refilled. Then PET bottles they scrap, they use into glass, or they have water containers. So I mean, little by little, the hotel resorts are doing their share in these initiatives on prevention and reduction of plastics.
I was
So
about to come to that because, as I said, I'm from the tourism and hospitality industry by profession. So, my next question to you was: what are these beautiful resorts on the beach or near to the beach? Are they doing something? Have they taken steps for not using plastic bottles, or because that's also adding? Tourism is a big factor. It's a global industry which is damaging our environment. And my other question to you, Dan, is how is the education, the youth involvement? Because I see Philip, I've seen all the energetic youths in your pictures, videos when you do the beach cleanups. Are they like part of it? Are they're passionate about Philippines cleanup? Because in COP28, I'm following a lot of youth networks have made their own organizations, even if they're not registered with Insta, with Facebook pages, with social media. They're trying to mobilize. So I think youth of not only Philippines but all across the world, I think they're the future. They're going to be doing something to save our planet Earth. So how do you see youth perspective, Philippines youth perspective for climate change, and how is your engagement so far with the youth, and how is their response? Back to Dan. Yes.
yeah, thank you, Sadaf. So it's really important to incorporate this environmental sustainability in the curriculum as far as the Ministry of Environment and the Department or Ministry of Education here in the Philippines. There's a lot of modules being developed. They are now available. And in fact, I'm also member of the Waste Hero Alliance of Professor Yunus. And there is a module that we've created from children from kinder to the university to know about recycling, zero waste, and circular economy that they can download. So we are a country that is, the population is like we already have maybe into 110 million increasing population, and the majority are the children and youth. And it's good that engaging them, not just in the classroom. In fact, last week there were students from affluent families in an exclusive school, very expensive school, where they have household helper, where they don't probably clean their house because they are rich and they don't want to clean because there are people that are hired by their parents, but they reach us and then they clean a certain area in the beach in Cordova, where we also have some Seed for Com chapter there, no? And they are even guarded by their drivers. There was a security guard, and they were cleaning. And I told the driver, I know that they don't clean their house, they don't clean their neighborhood, but good that the school required them to do. And then I asked them to clean for an hour. So, and then after the cleaning, we had a session, some inputs on the importance of their involvement. Although in the future they can be our leaders, engineers, etc. So how it can be related to them, this sort of clean up activity, because at the end of
That's
that day, the
mhm,
next day there will be a lot of trash again in that vicinity if we
exactly.
solve the problem on closing that tap.
That's brilliant. Coming back to, I'll engage Inger now in the discussion further. Inger is very close to your heart. I'm hearing since 4 years circular economy, which Dan mentioned. Please have a discussion on circular economy, as Inger is quite expert and she has a expertise internationally. Yes, Inger, circular economy.
Thank you, thank you. The with the circular economy, my background was the fashion industry, and the so I've been engaging in sustainable fashion from a perspective of sustainable or circular economy at the time. So I did a lot of testing in the fashion retail, um, wholesale um, area, and also engaging with the hospitality industry and tourism, and how to really work on circular economy. Uh, um, I think I started as early as 2002, and I created a cooperative in Stockholm with the name 360 Degrees Hub in 2002 out of Stockholm. And the archipelago of Stockholm is beautiful, just to mention. And there's also, like, the city of Stockholm is also having the grand scale um, waste management schemes. What we with children and youth can do is so little, and it's very important, but the problem and the complexity of waste management is so huge that we need industrial partners to help us in the cleanup of the ocean and the big problem. And then there's another thing: we have to do it right from the beginning. So we have to stop some of the production and to change the dependence on and to redesign the starting point of food production and food conservation. And the big plastic industry is so huge that we even have to stop that in a way, because it's fossil fuel based. But then again, you have alternatives are coming up that can replace like petrochemical plastic construction. I'm telling you, Dan, I've been working with children, and we haven't all the. This goes back as to the Rio 1992 with Gro Harlem Brundtland and the future in our hands, and the Thor Heyerdahl and the first United Nations Environmental Program in 1972. That's when they agreed to take care of the ocean and to stop pollution, and nothing has done. And that I've done produced educational packages for the 50 years history that is called the C6, together with six youth organizations in Europe. And it's about creative collaborative collaboration to combat climate change. And one of the stories that we're really taking care of is the ocean and the law and the ecocide that's going on, that is the big corporations are in fact responsible of. So the one thing is the circular economy, and to keep the world spinning and make nature winning, make children winning, make the future winning, and say that this is for you. How can we really uh, rethink? And that's the rethink choices. How can we navigate on this one? How can we engage in a profound climate education, that we really come together and make a new start because we have to get away from linear production to circular economy, and we have to do it correct from the beginning. And then the polluter is responsible, as the fishing industry in the Lofoten, as you mentioned. They are responsible for the pollution of the North Sea. But then the microplastic and the nanoplastic is chemicals in the ocean, for example. So what can I say, Dan? It's so much. But this is some of my perspective, and ideas are flying. And I think what we can do, Dan, is actually to talk after this conversation, say what can we really connect initiatives from Pakistan to the Philippines, to Norway, to Kenya, to around the globe, and to join the heroes of the future, and actually not the future. It's we need the heroes right now, and we need to stage them, and that's what we're calling the inner hero of It's For You campaign. That
Mhm.
we have to be, and we have to manifest this excitement of being part of the solution. So yeah. Right.
Dan, your comments on that before we wrap our session live from Philippines. Dan, thank you so much for joining the It's For You campaign. I get inspired, and I want to the reason that I was chasing Dan. I know he's been very busy. Is that I wanted his story to be heard globally. Dan, we don't have to go to Dubai. That's why we are saying COP28 is in our home, in our countries, in our cities. We are creating everybody, an impact. But
Yes.
coming back to COP28 Dubai, I think I always say online, like I'm not opposing COPs. COPs are happening. It's a good movement. Youth are engaged. They're excited. But the main question lies is even from that's what I'm asking everyone. Even I ask you, Dan, that when your decision makers, when your leaders, when your representatives come back from COP28, what are their action plan? What are they planning for Philippines? How are they going to engage non-profits, government, private, students, education institutions for climate change? We haven't achieved the target of Sustainable Development Goals. 2030 is right around the corner. The new buzzword from CSR is now shifting to ESG, which is environmental social governance. So let's see how that goes. But thank you, Dan, for your amazing contribution all the way from Philippines. We'll be inviting you for our closing session, which is happening on the 12th. It will be a closing grand finale for COP28. Do join us. We'll be sharing you invite, and we'll be bringing all our speakers globally together for that grand finale. Thank you, Dan, once again, and your last remarks for our online viewers.
Yes, this is for you. It's for you. We seek more heroes, children, youth, at the local level. Be supportive for a hero of light, which you can campaign for renewable energy. Be food heroes supporting agriculture into regenerative, as well as the fisher folks. We also have reef heroes, where we take care of our reefs. We plant and engage the fisher folks in their livelihoods of farming seaweeds, increasing their harvest. So if you want to do small actions, you can reach us, Seed for Com. We can help you and be part of these ripples of change. We have the 4 E's of Seed for Com, like It's For You. We have the energy, environment, education, and enterprise. So let's create more heroes. And we only have one planet. We don't have to wear capes. We can be one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Can you play the intro video again in the end? That's amazing. As a goodbye for Dan. And Dan, do join us for the closing grand finale on 12th December. I'll send you the invite soon.
Yes, I'll ready to play. And Dan, this is for you.
That was amazing.
Good does not come from having good intentions, or even by
Bye,
acting
Dan.
on
Thank
them.
you.
But good.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
And
Bye.
then, and you can please stay around in the green room if you like.
All
And
right.
but we're going to now to bring on our stories from Kenya.
This world is all we got.
all we
So
get.
we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah.
Good originates from accepting that there are limits. Good comes from limits. Rethink those choices. Chunga vile unapa chase. Think of your consumption. What's the point? I mean, transformational ownership is for you. It's for you, yeah. Are you ready now? Are you ready
Dreaming
now?
of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now.
What gives you joy? Dancing in the rain. What gives you joy? Owning my challenges.
What gives you joy?
Being alive. What gives you joy? Having fun. Hey, 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 hey. T.O. Transformational ownership, yeah. Hey, yo, listen. Everyone, you are welcome to the
Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got.
Hello, Sadaf. That was great from the Philippines.
Yeah, it was great. I like the music. Why have we been playing this before, Inger? We should play it in our breaks. Keep it playing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But that was Larry. Larry that came in from Dubai. It's good. It makes us listen. Let's listen to the text.
Yeah, nature is alive and nature has feelings. Don't you hurt its feelings. You are human and just stop being the reason why nature ain't healing. Good does not come from having good intentions or even by acting on them. But good comes from accepting that the good
Dreaming of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got,
all we
so
get.
we must save the planet, save it now. Yeah.
Good originates from accepting that there are limits. Good comes from limits. Rethink those choices. Chunga vile unapa chase. Think of your consumption. What's the point? I mean, transformational ownership is for you. It's for you, yeah. Are you ready now? Are you ready
Dreaming
now?
of a day when we shall heal the world. Transform yourself, it's for you, it's the solution. A limit to oil, gas and coal makes me happy. This world is all we got, so we must save the planet, save it now.
What gives you joy? Dancing in the rain. What gives you joy? Owning my challenges. Being alive.
Oh, being alive, Sadaf. I'm in Norway, you're in Pakistan, and we are running the show. Whew.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was a very interesting discussion from Pakistan, from Philippines. Inger, it's so interesting to hear these stories, all across the globe, and what amazing work they're doing, especially from the Philippines. I mean, I've been following Dan since quite a few years now. We haven't met in person, but that's what our campaign is. It's for you, it's for me, it's for everyone.
Absolutely.
And Dan, people like Sadia, they were messaging me that they really wanted to go to COP28 when I started inviting them for the It's For You campaign. And they said, please connect us, get a sponsor, we want to go. But then at the same time, I really pushed them hard so that at least we can give them this virtual global platform. As we say, COP28 is not in Dubai. You don't have to go to Dubai. We are giving them a voice, Inger. What do you think?
I agree with you. I also want to be in Dubai, and I guess you would like to be in Dubai as well. But I will be using $10,000 at least, and the same with you. That's $20,000, Sadaf. And if you had that money in your pockets, where would you like to put them? Would you put it at work for others to join us? How can we empower people that is doing the groundwork and not only talking? So I feel proud being back home in Norway. I think that has an integrity, and for the World Climate School, I'm not sure even if I'm supporting Greta Thunberg, because I'd like people to go back to school. We have to learn and rethink some of the things that is true, that is not true. It's not that it's producing of lies, but the consequences are so high that they are putting us into a disaster. And I know that our friend David Coe and Richard from Rethinking Choices and the big money people from the hedge funds industries and the stock exchanges of the world, they have to rethink. And how can we bridge from the big money people to NGOs? How can we get that moving and get? There's so many unsustainable investments that is not going anywhere.
I think you rightly said. I mean, me and you were together in COP26 in Glasgow. It was my first COP. I was very excited. I do a lot of blogging with Nico. It was a great experience. But I think I made a wise decision not going to Dubai this year. I have my political views. I don't know whether I should share it, but everybody's talking about the Middle East crisis. And I didn't feel really comfortable going when there's so much happening under our eyes. There's a war going on over there. And I thought that Dubai COP28 will be postponed, but it did not. But coming back to, I'm enjoying this virtual COP better because, Inger, I think we're more focused. The people we are talking to, there's so many ideas coming into me and your minds as a business entrepreneur. I mean, I'll be more interested having a discussion with David. And I think, David, can you come in? And we're going to be having a 7 minutes break. I'll be playing King Charles' speech for our viewers. And Iram is going to join in soon as well. And I want to take a discussion, actually, what's happening in Dubai, what all these leaders are talking about, because they have a voice. I living in the UK, I've been following King Charles Foundation. He's doing a lot of work, Inger, with his network. I mean, of course, they're there. I mean, he's very passionate as a young child. I followed him. So let's hear his speech, and we'll bring it to the discussion with my colleagues, David and Enam, once they join.
Dancing in the rain, owning my challenges, being alive, having fun. Transformational ownership. Secretary General. Hey yo, listen.
Your Royal Highnesses, President. Prime Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan for his warm invitation to speak to you at the opening of COP28. 8 years ago, I was most touched to be asked to speak at the opening of COP21 in Paris, which of course culminated in the Paris Agreement, a landmark moment of hope and optimism when nations put differences to one side for the common good. I pray with all my heart that COP28 will be another critical turning point towards genuine transformational action at a time when already, as scientists have been warning for so long, we are seeing alarming tipping points being reached. I've spent a large proportion of my life trying to warn of the existential threats facing us over global warming, over climate change and biodiversity loss. But I was not alone. For instance, Sheikh Mohammed's dear father, Sheikh Zayed, was advocating for clean energy at a time even before the United Arab Emirates as such came into being. All these decades later, and despite all the attention, there is 30% more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere now than there was back then, and almost 40% more methane. Some important progress has been made, but it worries me greatly that we remain so dreadfully far off track, as the Global Stocktake report demonstrates so graphically. The dangers are no longer distant risks. I have seen across the Commonwealth and beyond countless communities which are unable to withstand repeated shocks, whose lives and livelihoods are laid waste by climate change. Surely, real action is required to stem the growing toll of its most vulnerable victims. Repeated cyclones batter vulnerable island nations like Vanuatu and Dominica. India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan have been experiencing unprecedented floods, and East Africa is suffering a decades-long drought. This past summer, in common with Spain, Greece, the United States, and many other countries, Canada experienced its most severe wildfire season on record, with 18.5 million hectares of land burned, causing terrible loss of life and property, and of course, releasing enormous amounts of greenhouse gases that contribute to dangerous feedback loops to which climate scientists have been alerting us for decades. As I've tried to say on many occasions, unless we rapidly repair and restore nature's unique economy based on harmony and balance, which is our ultimate sustainer, our own economy and survivability will be imperiled. Records are now being broken so often that we are perhaps becoming immune to what they are really telling us. When we see the news that this last Northern Hemisphere summer, for instance, was the warmest global average temperature on record, we need to pause to process what this actually means. We are taking the natural world outside balanced norms and limits and into dangerous, uncharted territory. We are carrying out a vast, frightening experiment of changing every ecological condition all at once, at a pace that far outstrips nature's ability to cope. As we work towards a zero carbon future, we must work equally towards being nature positive. With what we are witnessing, our choice now is a starker and darker one. How dangerous are we actually prepared to make our world? Dealing with this is a job for us all. Change will come by working together and making it easier to embrace decisions that will sustain our world, rather than carry on as though there are no limits or as though our actions have no consequences.
Managed WordPress hosting by Hostinger. Here are 3 super features to improve your website's performance.
As you gather, ladies and gentlemen, for these critical negotiations, the hope of the world rests on the decisions you must take. I can only encourage you to consider some practical questions which might inform the task ahead of you. Firstly, how can our multilateral organizations which were established at a different time for different challenges, be strengthened for the crisis we face? How can we bring together our public, private, philanthropic, and NGO sectors ever more effectively so that they all play their part in delivering climate action, each complementing the unique strengths of the others? Public finance alone will never be sufficient, but with the private sector firmly at the table and a better, fairer international financial system, combined with the innovative use of risk reduction tools like first loss risk guarantees, we could mobilize the trillions of dollars we need, in the order of $4.5 to $5 trillion a year, to drive the transformation we need. Secondly, how can we ensure that finance flows to those developments most essential to a sustainable future and away from practices that make our world more dangerous across every industry in every part of the world? I have, for instance, been heartened by some of the steps taken by parts of the insurance sector, which plays such a vital role in incentivizing more sustainable approaches and providing an invaluable source of investment to reduce the risks we face. Thirdly, how can we accelerate innovation and the deployment of renewable energy, of clean technology and other green alternatives to move decisively towards investment in this vital transition across all industries? For instance, how can we increase investments in regenerative agriculture, which can be a nature-positive carbon sink? What incentives are necessary? And how can those which have a perverse impact be eliminated with all due speed? Fourthly, how can we bring together different solutions and initiatives to ensure coherent long-term approaches across sectors, countries, and industries? For virtually every artificial source of greenhouse gas emissions, there are alternatives or mitigations which can be put in place. That is why it is encouraging to see industry transition plans being developed both nationally and globally, which will help each sector of our global economy onto practical pathways to a zero carbon, nature positive future. And ladies and gentlemen, fifthly, how can we forge an ambitious new vision for the next 100 years? How can we draw on the extraordinary ingenuity of our societies, the ideas, knowledge, and energy of our young people, our artists, our engineers, our communicators, and importantly, our indigenous peoples, to imagine a sustainable future for people everywhere, a future that is in harmony with nature, not set against her. Ladies and gentlemen, in your hands is an unmissable opportunity to keep our common hope alive. I can only urge you to meet it with ambition, imagination, and a true sense of the emergency we face, and together with a commitment to the practical action upon which our shared future depends. After all, ladies and gentlemen, in 2050, our grandchildren won't be asking what we said. They will be living with the consequences of what we did or didn't do. So if we act together to safeguard our precious planet, the welfare of all our people will surely follow. And we need to remember too that the indigenous worldview teaches us that we are all connected, not only as human beings, but with all living things and all that sustains life. As part of this grand and sacred system, harmony with nature must be maintained. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth.
Clinically proven
Thank you for playing and sharing, Sadaf.
Hi,
you so
David.
Thank you for
How are
inviting
you
me.
doing?
I'm really pleased to be invited. Thank you.
Let
Very
me
honored.
invite the online viewers who just logged in. David is the guy who's running this all campaign. It's for you. I met David through Inger Met. Thanks, Inger, for introducing me to this whole campaign. Yes, David, how are you feeling so far? The fourth day, we are in first session of the day, sorry, is closing. And how are you enjoying it so far, David?
You know, when you were speaking with Dan, and as Dan was talking about, trying to be in COP and all of the rest of it, um, what I felt, the way we've come to call it for you is the antidote of COP28, and it's not, as you say, there's anything we are against in any way, but the media has a representation about how the world is, and it has this view that it must present it in a very one-dimensional way. It believes that we all have to go together in this speed in this way in order to get forward. And very often, even as you read today, whatever comes out of there, there's a comment to say this is not enough, this is we've got to do more and all the rest. And the result is it diminishes the work that Dan's doing, the work that Dr. Sadi Khalid was doing earlier, and the efforts of yourselves and all of those people. What we want to do, and what I have come to appreciate through these few days, is actually the efforts that we are all making. The migration honestly has started to that richer world and better future. And it has started because of the people who have come on the show and the things that they have done. And they have done this out of passion in their heart. Yesterday, we had James Kamal talk about how being an environmentalist is not a job, it's what you are. Your job may be a presenter, it may be an accountant, it may be a broadcaster or a scientist, whatever it is. But to go and take a seed and plant it from the apple that you eat, or the orange that you had, or the tomatoes that you had for supper, and plant them, that is just being you and being connected to the nature and understanding your role as part of that nature. And I think we have managed to bring those perspectives together. We've had reflections from my friends about just how they have come into that connection. We've had the prayer and meditations to anchor ourselves back always to understand that it is about nature, it is about dignity for each other, and that's how we have dignity for ourselves and having those things first. So I'm really, really astounded, amazed by the work you've all done to bring it all together. I'm eternally grateful for the efforts there. And most of all, the voices who have come on have been amazing. And they have shown the question that we started at the time when we started. We were talking with people and they were saying, people don't care. And we said, let's ask, let's find out. Let's make it possible that they can come and tell us. And they have, and they're coming. So please invite more people along. And it's fantastic. It is such a great thing. And there clearly are so many people, a whole new generation of young and old people who takes this challenge we face as a genuine opportunity to unwind all those embedded interests that keeps us kind of locked into received wisdoms that can no longer apply. And Inga talking earlier with Dan about that connecting up from archipelago to archipelago, from Stockholm to the archipelagos of Stockholm to the archipelagos of the Philippines, and to go all the way back around. It's just such an amazing story. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. The archipelago of Stockholm is one thing, and by the way, that inland ocean that's between Sweden and Finland, it's heavily polluted, and it's it needs a urgency to clean up. Really, it's one of the most polluted oceans, or in locked oceans, I would say, on the planet also. But the archipelago of Norway, the coastline of Norway, and how we can really engage along all the way to the North Cape and out to Greenland and Iceland and beyond to the North Pole. That is really the stories where we can connect all of us on the one planet, one ocean, and unite in a grassroots engagement. And mentioning the grassroots engagement, David, there is like a word that big business people. I call you big business because you're a hedge funds
I should
manager
get
from
my
London.
suit back on and get my tie back on. Did you know
I
Richard?
definitely you should do that because I think
Yes, we'll do
here
that.
I think this is, you have to correct me, but the word that I'm going to say, that how to deploy the it's a way to use money and how you activate your money and put it into working. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is it correct to say that people in big business, hedge funds managers, people like you that are kind of jumping off the trade and are somehow depressed, and suddenly you are connecting to the grassroots and you can see that there is a lot of things going on. You know,
Well,
could you get back to your people in the big business and financiers in the stock exchange, people in the insurance company? Come, don't be that depressed. The things are happening on the ground.
Before they would respond,
Yes.
before they would respond, hi Aram, how are you? We missed you today. I know you've just come back from your work, but I welcome my colleague Aram. She's joining us, tuning in all the way from Karachi, Pakistan. She is the media coordinator for It's For You campaign. Aram, I'll be having a very interesting question regarding the beach cleanup in Karachi, which you missed. And we can integrate that. Have a lot of interesting, thoughts and ideas going on. But yes, David, respond to Inger.
Well, I would like to say, I mean, the one thing I would like to start from is that the business world is not inherently evil or anything in that way. And that's an essence of something we really wanted to emphasize in the book, which Richard and I kind of put together out of our really cathartic reflection, very much what Inga was talking about. The book's called The Unsustainable Truth. I have a copy here. I just want to show it a little bit. If anyone's looking for a present over the holiday seasons, this
David,
is
I have a
definitely a good one.
suggestion. We all need to
Yes.
deserve this present. The whole team of It's For You, you have to send it and post it to us,
Yes,
including Aaron.
that's a great
You
idea.
need to, as a token of
Yeah.
appreciation, you need to send the book to the It's For You
Yes.
campaign to Kenya, to
I will definitely
Pakistan,
have to do that.
to Oslo.
Yep. That's a fantastic idea. And but going back to it,
I'll be
the
waiting.
problem, yes, you will definitely. And the problem is much more subtle. The problem is that as we've come into a situation where we're very uncertain about our future. We fear our future because we don't know what's going to happen. And the more we hear kind of like the negative stories and so on, the more we fear it, and the more we feel we need to protect ourselves. And the way that works inevitably is we need to try and hoard more money for ourselves to protect it. And when we go through that phase, what happens? The question that Richard and I always ask is, can we think of another animal or plant that spends 2/3 of its life hoarding resources, essentially turning them into something like money, so that it can just retire off the final third? And we can't. And when we look at the people kind of amongst the most, what they have demonstrated is that as we connect better together and reach back out into that origin, what Cristiano on the first day said, we need to connect by connecting back with this question of where we come from in that way. Then we are able to actually find our own steps forward. And for the business world, we had an interview yesterday with a amazing gentleman, Adam Wasserman, which we'll play later, and he makes this very simple point. Businesses effectively it's an empty box. It's people in them. That's what matters. And we tend to call on businesses to do things, and we fail to call on the people in them, whether they're the people who work for them or whether the owners of the people who own them. And those are the people that we can hold into individual conversations. Take our hats off. Because when you talk to someone as a CEO of a major company, he feels he needs to be defensive about the company. But the company itself is nothing without the people, and those people are the customers, the suppliers, the people who work there, the people who own it. So if we take our hats off, which is what's actually around here, been happening here. People have been able to come on, they've been able to take the hats off, they've been able to say, this is what I do because it's me. So
Correct.
I think that that's really, really important part in talking about the climate finance as much as in talking about what Dan has been talking about in the fisher folks. I love that phrase, the fisher folks.
And I also like the climate heroes. And there were so many, like I was just texting you again and again. I hope we have these recordings because you will be writing. You and Richard have a lot of work to do after the 12, when the 12 days of COP are over. Coming back to Inger, do share. You wanted to share the video. And my question to Iram is, what's your plan? How can you do something through Rotary Club or Lion Club for the beach cleanups in Karachi? Because that's what is required.
Let me play
Yes, thank you.
Irum. Irum, do we still have we have this beautiful introduction to you. I like to play the introduction to you because then you feel like it's firing up. And then I have a beautiful small camel on the beach story as well that I like to share with you. And so you get time to prepare your answer because this is so important. What can Karachi do for the cleanup? But here comes the presentation of Irum Fawad all the way from Karachi. Are you ready?
Yes, Inger, go ahead.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Always ready.
It's always ready. This is the question for you. Here comes a small video, and it is for you as well. So get ready to share a.
Camel ride at Clifton Seaview Beach, Karachi, Pakistan. It's for you.
This is for you. This
That's
is your
my
life.
mom.
That's your camel.
So that my house is there on the beach. So you know what? Like I see it everywhere, every day when I go to work. And this is what it is. This is something like amazing. I have made, yesterday I went to one of the climate activists and he has a beach over there. It's called Urban Forest. He has grown the fruits, trees and many other things over there. It's a thick forest that he has made over there on the beach, which is like amazing. So I interviewed him and checked the It's For You page. I just put the story on there today. So it is like something I visited there. That I just wanted to let everybody know that Pakistan is never behind. There are people who know and want to do some climate change, and they are people who are really making a difference in the entire globe. And for making the beach more greener, plus the mangroves, and plus the return of the flamingo and all the birds that just migrated because there were no greenery, no mangroves,
Wow.
because they had,
No.
yeah, they returned. And it is like 700 birds that I saw yesterday, which Mr. Lohar showed me everything. It's an entire video. You just check it up and just I'm gonna just send it to you. You can just run it over here because it's a huge thing that I can see on the beach, because it was a barren one, and you cannot do anything on it. It was just it's his private place, and he did it. And I'm gonna go walk on the cleanest beach ever in the city tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's good. It's really, really
Yes.
good.
So I'm just gonna send you on the WhatsApp. You can just check it out.
That's amazing. Coming back to mangroves and all, I'm also just trying to play a very the first project which happened in Pakistan, Urban Forest by Shahzad Qureshi, which Iram knows, and it's right in Karachi. He was the one who started this, and he's a member of the Rotary Club of Karachi as well. I would like to play his video as well. He's an inspiration, and he's doing a lot of projects in Pakistan under the Urban Forest. Before I play and the video, Iram, I would like you for the viewers to talk about Shahzad Qureshi's excellent work, which is done in Karachi for Urban Forest.
So Shahzad Qureshi has done a lot for the city of Karachi, because as per it's a high-rise city, and we have a lot of, like, it's a big city, so a lot of smoke and everything. But to make it more greener, Mr. Shahzad has brought that idea of urban forest, and he started planting the trees so that we can breathe properly, and we can have the kind of oxygen which is clearer. So he has been working all along, and the in between the all these buildings, he has made this urban forest. And plus he's planting seeds and many other things, and plants everywhere, entire Karachi, different parts of the very thick area of buildings. There's a greener patch, and I guess the government is also working on it, lean and green kind of thing. So I guess we all should stand. Not only Shahzad can stand alone, we all should stand with him and can work together, because this is not one human being work. But I salute him that he is very dedicated over the years. I've seen him. He's running a Rotary club as well, and like, as being a Rotarian and a Lion Club president, I also did these drives of plantation, even on the urban forest over there, at the beach as well. So I guess we all can stand together. He is doing a fabulous job, and not only here, but entire country knows him, because he's a hard worker in the just bringing the city more greener. So I guess this is the fabulous work that we should see on the video.
Beautiful. Share the video, Sadaf. It's, I think what you two ladies are doing, it's amazing, and I look forward to come and see you. And everyone who's watching this live, please redirect your spending and invest in Irun Fawad, Sadaf Khalid, and myself. We're a dream team in fashion and entrepreneurship. So we are women empowerment across borders, from Norway
So
to
we are
Paris.
the power girls. We are the power
Yeah.
girls. So please tune in with us.
So play the video, Sadaf, and I will just put on some music, and that is as we wait for you to get the right track on going live.
You play it.
Yes, but now here it comes, the right video.
जब पाकिस्तान केबल्स ने एक्चुअली हमसे रब्ता किया कि जी उन्हें अपनी एक फैक्ट्री के अंदर एक फॉरेस्ट क्रिएट करना है, तो अंदर से मैंने बहुत छलांगे लगाई मेरे दिल में। मैं बड़ा खुश था कि यार ये एक ऐसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जिसने ये हिम्मत की है और ये वहाँ लगाने जा रहे हैं, बिकॉज ये एक ट्रेंड सेटिंग काम है। इस दरख्तों की अहमियत को और दरख्तों से ज़्यादा जंगलात की अहमियत को समझना, और कोई आदमी उसको एक्चुअली अडॉप्ट करके अपनी फैक्ट्री के अंदर लगाने के लिए तैयार है, उससे अच्छी कोई चीज़ नहीं थी। तो मेरे लिए एक लिटरली एक लैंडमार्क प्रोजेक्ट था ये जो मैंने किया है पाकिस्तान केबल्स के साथ, और उम्मीद ये है कि ये इंशाल्लाह एक वायरस की तरह ये फैल जाएगा तमाम इंडस्ट्रीज के अंदर, और उनको ये वायरस लग जाए जंगलात लगाने वाला।
Beautiful, 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 beautiful.
I was trying to find the English version. I'm still trying. Aram, can you please interpret for our viewers in English as you're good at it, what he was saying?
Yeah. So, Mr. Shahzad Qureshi is one inspiration for everyone. Every Pakistani should be a very proud person because he's there to make a difference. I guess Mr. Shahzad Qureshi was telling that he had a contract with the Pakistan Telecommunication entire official government department that he will be planting trees wherever the poles are, wherever the telecommunication projects are, entire Pakistan. And he was wishing that this kind of a virus of planting a plant should be carrying by everyone. So he's hoping for everyone to just join his team and make Pakistan more leaner and greener.
Very good, very good. Yeah, it's so amazing. I love to see what the work you're doing in Pakistan. So it's amazing what you ladies are doing and all the ideas and networks.
Next video with captions. Let's see.
Yeah.
Actually, you have to dig mass graves और उसमें लोगों को इस तरह bury करना है. मतलब you just let this happen around you. I got to see this video on how to grow a forest in your backyard, and the forest in the truest sense, not just कि मतलब एक साथ 6 दरख्त लगा दिया आपने. We established a wetland treatment channel so that we can take up the water from the sewerage line, clean it up with the reed bed, and store it in a lake that we created in the back. And so it's completely built and grown on water harvested from the sewerage, cleaned up by the trees themselves, and then utilized to give them the food. Every benefit that a tree is supposed to give you, वो 30 times more amplify हो जाता है. जो कराची के हालात देखें, यार this has to be tried. 3 साल के अंदर एक self sustaining forest आपको मिल जाता है. सैलाब भी आएगा, तूफान भी आएंगे, गर्मी की शिद्दत बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगी, खाना ख़त्म हो जाएगा, पानी शदीद महंगा हो जाएगा। ये सारी चीज़ें बहुत तेज़ी से आ रही हैं। मेजर जवाब इन बहुत सारी चीज़ों का जो है वो दरख्तों के अंदर है, और हमारी तो छोटी सी एफर्ट है, इसको स्केल करने की बड़ी शदीद ज़रूरत है।
Wonderful, wonderful, Erum and Sadaf. Amazing work. It's been an amazing morning with you from Karachi, from Philippines, from Lahore, from Islamabad, and we also have a guest from Dubai, and we have had David from Co from London engaging with us on rethinking our choices and looking at how we can really move forward. And as we are approaching the last half an hour in our morning show from the 7 Tokyo time, we're now turning around the globe, and we're getting to our next show in in Kenya at Kenya's time. We really look forward to connecting again. And before we closing our session today, I am wondering if we should introduce our friends recorded from Kenya, or if we should continue our conversation here. Sadaf, what is your advice this time? Should we fly to Kenya, or should we stay on the Zoom talking with you?
I think, I mean, it's a very interesting session. I would like Aram now to do most of the talking, and I'll just take a break for the last about 15-20 minutes. Even Aram, your perspective, and David, are you guys following Dubai COP28? Because our event is also focused on COP28 Dubai. David, I want to ask, since you're from Hong Kong, I haven't heard a single story from your home country. What is Hong Kong doing on climate change? I have one friend, by the way, from
Good
Hong
one.
Kong. She
I
lives
like
in
it.
Well,
So,
I will
what's
say this,
Hong
man.
Kong's perspective? What's the air pollution figures
Happy
there?
New Year.
Uh, what
You
do you
know,
think? How
Hong
Hong Kong is progressing on climate change? And and who's representing from Hong Kong in COP28? Do you know?
I'm not sure who's there in Hong Kong, but Hong Kong is a really interesting transformation story in some ways. So when I was young, I've been living in the United Kingdom since the mid 1970s, late 1970s. So I've been here for a good long time. My sister still lives in Hong Kong, and she's very involved in many ways. She's actually one of the people who drafted the international reporting standards for businesses that have just recently come in place. So she's very much involved in that way. But what I would say is the city itself has undergone a number of changes from the time when I was there. At the time when I was there was litter everywhere. There were huge. The air pollution was a major issue, and obviously congestion, traffic, and all those things were an issue then. It took really kind of a very concerted effort and genuine involvement from people. And actually, I think one thing I would say about all across Asia, my experience of it, and I'm sure it's the same in Pakistan and India and all the other places, is that people have a great sense of community. They have a great sense of a belonging to a place. And when they turn their minds to recognize through the efforts that you've all been showcasing about, the education, the understanding. Education is perhaps the wrong word. It's not like going to school. It's just becoming aware. It changes very rapidly. And so today, the city itself is very clean. The air is actually much better conditioned. The difficulties they have occasionally comes from the industrialization of China as it was going through, which, these sort of cross-border issues I'm sure you face across many of the Asian countries in that way, because the place is really growing phenomenally. With regards to the climate, it is a part of that China effort in all. And when you look to China, what people don't realize is that it has more renewable energy than the whole of Europe and America combined, practically. It is increasing at a phenomenal pace. It is replacing in ways that are unheard of. There was a report a few years ago when Richard and I were looking deeply into this sustainable investing. we were watching these roads that they were building that were solar panels, basically, as using the road surface in that way. So some really innovative ideas about how we can go about making those transformations there. But having said that, I think that Hong Kong, like most places around the world, has this is caught in this aspect of saying we really just want to keep doing the right thing without realizing that there is something that's too much of a good thing. And Richard and I very much feel at the moment there is actually this too much of a good thing. So, for example, we were in our comedy segment, Who Tipped Over the Tipping Point, which is our attempt to keep the world laughing sustainably, which we should actually get you to play one of those segments during one of the earlier parts we play in the evenings. They're very funny. There was this thing about sustainable aviation fuel. And the idea is 100% aviation fuel. It sounds fantastic. You go along with it. But it fails to mention that actually only 1/3 of the warming gases that comes from flying is from the fuel. The rest of it from the carbon dioxide, the rest of it is from the water vapor that's emitted high up into the atmosphere. And that acts as one of these blankets that goes around the planet and keeps it warmer along. So what happens is you think you're doing better because it's sort of sustainable, so you do more of it, and it turns out that you actually exhaust the capacity of something else even more. So this part, what King Charles mentioned about limit, and the essence of limit is really, really important. It's very hard for us to appreciate. I know that because when I tell my daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, about limits, she tells me, what do I know? Of course I want to go along and spend more time on my phone or to go out with all her friends. And I says, there's got to be limits. And I think as far as the planet's concerned, we are a little bit like that. We think of something as good, and then we go all out into it, and we try to get everybody into it at the same time, and it then becomes too much. And that's the essence about the unsustainable truth.
So
And I would
So, yes, David, coming back to Iram, and then we're going to close this session. Inger, I think it was a very intense and interesting discussions we had. I want to very beautiful video of Pakistan. I want to promote Pakistan as a tourist destination. That's my dream destination, Pakistan. I want all of you to visit and explore Pakistan and be the change makers.
absolutely,
Iram,
Sadaf.
uh,
Sadaf, we want to come and visit the most sustainable eco lodge in Pakistan, where we can
so
really have
that's
a
my dream.
pie.
I need
We'll
funding for
help
that.
you to bring that dream forward. But before, like my closing remarks here at the end of our morning show this Monday, I like I visit Hong Kong in 1991. I took the train into China, and I think it's Guangzhou. And at that time, I could look down into the rivers, and I could only see black, polluted rivers, as very dark chemical rivers in China. And my reference from the textile industry again, again, Pakistan is a textile. We can do things differently. We can deploy money differently in the textile industry. Then again, I've seen the thing, they have wool produced in South Africa with sustainable wool production, and then it's shipped again to China, produced in a coal manufacture factory in China, and then shipped back as sustainable wool garments to Norway and to the sporting events, the sporting industry of fashion, the sporting aspect of fashion. So there's so many things that we have to redirect and redefine in our world. And that's where the World Climate School is coming into play. And also back to my friend Makoto, ensuring that we have a future to have the insurance industry coming into the big an important way we deploy our money And that's where we need you, David Coe, and all your friends and all your colleagues and all the people working in big business, in multinational industries, that is greenwashing the ESG reporting. They are lying all over the thing, and also small, medium-sized enterprises are lying. It's a culture of lying and greenwashing in the big industries, and that we have to change and get honest about. And that is at the end here, David, you have to get back to me on this. What is honest reporting? How can we get let's get rid of greenwashing. It's like green schools are even greenwashing.
It is, and with regards to what we've always talked about in terms of the World Climate School and so on. I mean, I think this aspect of what you had always talked about in terms of this kind of a rebirth of the environmental movement in some ways. This sort of positive aspect towards it, where we are recognizing, as many people are doing, but the reporting aspect is hugely important. And the most difficult aspect about reporting is this: if you look around in your garden, there are some plants which are poisonous and some plants which are not. You need them all, and that's what makes a really nice garden. This is not the one that you only plant the one type that you've come to learn. And I take another view of this, which is like, imagine a classroom where the teacher only taught the children which are good. What will you actually end up with? Because that's not what a good classroom is. It's that alpha that Sunita Gandhi and what she talked about. You allow the children to work with each other in the proper situation. You allow them to interact with each other. Today you may be with the best child in the class. Tomorrow you might be with the worst. Another day you may be with someone from a different background, a different kind of belief system, and the day after you may be with someone who has very difficult abilities in terms of maybe physically much better or much worse, more capable or otherwise than you. And honest reporting is about seeing our businesses with honest eyes. We have suppliers, we have customers. What do our customers see us at? What do we see ourselves at? Recognize that we never get anywhere without making mistakes. And those mistakes are really important part of our learning. But for the mistakes to become possible, we have to be in a nurtured community who will say, yes, I recognize that you've made mistakes. Now, how would you like to proceed? And give us a chance so that we can work out for ourselves how we may like to proceed. So that's the essence of the honest reporting. We talked about it. It's one of the many things we talked about, and it's one of the many things that I am pretty sure we will get round to it. We will get going. And the reason why it's taking a little backseat compared to the It's For You is because at the end of the day, the most important thing that we face is that people need to be able to have livelihoods. And
Yes.
climate actions need to be able to turn climate actions into livelihoods. And I have just been, while you were on show, I've been talking with a gentleman who was talking about how he's able to train people so they can have livelihoods. Sunita Gandhi is training people. And this is not livelihoods that we train them so we fit them like commodity into a plug. This is livelihoods that allow them to express their dignity, their genuine ability to move forward and to face a world where they can say, you know what, I know oil and gas and coal may provide everything that we have so far, but I want a world without that, and I'm going to work towards having a livelihood in that way. We spoke with a leader of a Girl Guide group, Agi, in Kenya, and she was talking about how that is, about how they address that with the young girls that they have. And that's the place to start. When you can start from there, you can address all the other issues.
Mhm.
And so many of people I talk to from the rich area I live in the center of London, very rich area, come along and says, but what about all those starving people in the impoverished parts of the world? And I sort of think about it, and I then hear these stories, and they say, don't start with the money,
Yeah.
like Dr. Khalid did earlier today.
Yeah.
Take that small step.
Exactly. David, I think that's very interesting. So we just have 10 minutes to close. Aram, I would like you to share your perspective. How do you feel so far I know it's been just a month that you joined the new campaign, the virtual, there's a lot of team effort going on. You're also part of it. How do you feel about this whole campaign and it's for you, the summit, you living in Karachi, we talked about women empowerment. What's your action plan basically for 2024? Fawad, what are you planning for environmental climate projects? What's your action plan for 2024?
As Power Girls, I am planning something in Karachi. I want COP29 to be in Karachi, and I want that to be in Pakistan. So let's just hoping all of these things together, we can make a dream team, and we are a dream team. That's why everything is possible. And you know what? Like it's been a month, month and a half with you guys, but you feel like family. I guess like even David and everyone, like we meet each other on virtual meetings and everything, tackling every glitching and everything together. That is like, that's the synergizing of a human mind that doesn't need any visas. So I guess, the thank you to internet and everyone else. And my stance, being a team as a media coordinator from Pakistan, Karachi, I'm very privileged to be a part of it, because I think we in Pakistan, we need a voice to the entire globe, so that we can tell that in Pakistan, not only women are not only getting married and having kids or making some food. Women are doing something very amazing. Like me, what I am doing, like it's been 26 years of entrepreneurial journey, and I've been trying. It's like in my DNA that I have to do something about opening a company. I have a company with Sadaf as well, and I have something with Inger as well. So, as being an entrepreneur, I like to take a risk, and that's why I am not afraid of anything, because I guess if you take a risk, opportunity comes to you, and this is what it is. I just the Sadaf just told me, and I said yes to it, and I didn't completely know about it. What is that? What is happening? I have no idea. But then afterwards, I am one of the kind of a woman that just can adopt in 1 second. So
Yes.
this is what it is. So if you wanted to speak me in the British accent, I can also do that, because I just need 1 second to just make myself. I can switch myself to British accent, right? And then this is how it is, because one has to know each other. Mind, one has to know him, herself, or himself, that yeah, that capability, that talent is in there. So I know what I'm doing, and I know that I can do this, because I believe in together we can.
Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
it has been a very interesting day, fourth day of COP. We're running. Thanks, Singer. Thanks, David, backstage. We'll be coming
Uh,
in again after 1 hour. Do log in. Before we close, let me share
Yeah.
this video and stay tuned for
and
further updates.
I'd
Thank you.
like to just give a shout to some of the things coming on later. So at 2 o'clock, we're going to have a moment prayer meditation. This is going to come from Pakistan today, which would be really great. And also tonight at probably about 7:30, 8 o'clock, we're going to have be talking about how we can turn indigenous life into kind of a modern economics. And here, what we're talking about is water for Masai, where we take about the idea of can we create the pastoral lifestyle of a large community in that traditional way into the seeds of a new economics for people around the area in East Africa in that way. So thank you.
Thank you. Please, Sadaf.
Salam Pakistan. Salam to the land of great splendor, the land that stretches from the grand mountains to the magnificent sea. Its beauty unrivaled, its grandeur unmatched. It is a land filled with hope, dreams, and awe. Look around this piece of earth, and you will see the charm and harmony that lies abundantly. Its people, noble, kind, and filled with pride. This land gives you faces full of smiles. Ah, how peaceful this country is, united under our green flag. Can you imagine any other place better than that? A nation as resilient as the peak of the Himalayas. Yes, we are a nation of love and kindness. We pour our hearts and souls into happiness. You will never be able to find the charm that we own because this country stands firm alone. Salam, Pakistan.
Wow, I must visit.
Yes, you should.
It's amazing. All those sights, all those scenes there. It's
So how do
that's
you
the other
say
thing
it
I've realized.
in Urdu? How do you say it? Bahut pyara, very beautiful. Bahut pyara mulk, very beautiful
बहुत
country.
प्यारा.
Bahut
It is
pyara
indeed.
mulk,
बहुत प्यारा.
very
Yes.
beautiful country. Yes.
Yes, it's just brought together
We're
so
logging
much. I
off
think
now. Thank you so much. And stay tuned for further updates. We're running like our page is for you, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.